From the corner of divan of Persian saddlebags on which he was lying, smoking an unusual amount of cigarettes, Lord Henry Cotton could just watch the glam of the honey sweet and colored blossom of the honey sweet, whose tremendous branches seemed hardly able to bear the burden of a beauty so flake-like as theirs, and now and then the fantastic shadows of bears in flight across the long tissue silk curtains that were in the huge window.
It's your best work, Basil. This is the best thing you have ever done. You must certainly send it to Grosvenor. That academy is too large and too vulgar. Grosvenor is the only place.
I don't. I will send it anywhere. No, I won't send it.
Not send it anywhere? But why, my dear Basil? Do you have any reason? You do anything in the world to gain a reputation. It is silly of you. A portrait like this would set you far above all the young men in England, and to make the old men quite yellow, if all men are capable of any emotion.
Well, I know you will laugh at me, but I can't really see it. I have put too much of myself into it. Yes, I know you will laugh. That is quite true, all the same.
It's too much of yourself in it. You know, he's a narcissist, but of course, you are a man of intellectual expression, but beauty, real beauty, ends when an intellectual expression begins. Don't flatter yourself.
Well, of course, I don't look like him. I know that perfectly. Dorian is a good-looking man.
Dorian? Is that his name?
Yes, that is his name, but I didn't tell it to you.
But why not?
Well, you know, when I loved people, I didn't want to tell their names to anyone, because you know how much I love secrecy.
Not at all, my dear Basil. And you seem to forget that I am married. And the one charm of marriage is that it makes a life of deception necessary for both parties.
What's that?
You know quite well.
I don't.
Well, I want to tell to you what it is.
Please don't. Harry, every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist, not the sitter. The reason why I won't exhibit is that I have shown the secret of my own soul.
And why is that? Tell me, is Dorian Gray very fond of you?
Harry, he likes me. I know he likes me. I find a strange pleasure in saying things to him that I should be sorry for saying that.
Someday you will look at Dorian Gray and he will seem to you to be a little out of drawing. And maybe you will like his tone of color or something. And the worst of having a romance is that it leaves one so romantic.
Harry, don't talk like that. As long as I live, the personality of Dorian Gray will dominate me. You don't feel what I feel. You change too often.
I am at once pictured to myself as a creature with horrible freckles and much more. I wish I had known it was your friend.
I'm very glad you didn't, Harry.
Why? You don't want me to meet him?
Dorian Gray is my dearest friend. He has a very beautiful and simple nature. Your aunt was quite true on tell me something about him. Your influence is bad for him. Your influence is bad for him. But don't take away from the one person that makes life very beautiful.
What nonsense you talk!
Hey, later, they saw Dorian at the piano turning over the plate of a volume of Schumann. For Suzanne, you must lend me these, Basil, he cried. I want to lend them, Dorian said. Then Basil said that depends on how Dorian sits. Dorian replies that he is tired to sit and that he doesn't want a life side. So when he caught sight of Dorian Henry, a face blushed her cheeks. So Dorian asked for pardon.
This is Lord Henry Gotten, Dorian. I'm no awful friend of mine. I just have been telling what a capital city you were, and now you have spoiled everything.
You haven't spoiled anything, Mr. Dorian Gray. My aunt has often spoken to me about you, and you are one of her favorites, and maybe one of her victims also.
Yeah, that's right. I am in a Lady Agatha's black book at present, and I promise to go to her club in Whitechapel, because we have to supposed to have a duet with her, but I'm afraid to call her because I don't know what she will say to me.
I will make your peace with my aunt, so don't worry, Dorian.
Harry, I want to finish this picture today. Would you think it awfully if I ask you to go away?
Dorian, am I to go?
Oh no, please don't, Lord Henry. Oh, please stay. I see that Basil is one in his sulky moods, and I can't bear him when he is sulked. Please stay.
I don't know that I should tell you, but I won't run away now that you have asked me to stop. You don't really mind, Basil. You have often told me that you like your cities to have someone to talk to.
Well, if Dorian wishes, you must stay. Dorian's wishes are always love to everybody, except himself.
If Lord Henry goes, I shall go too. You never open your lips while you're painting, and it's horrible though, standing on the platform and try to look pleasing. Ask him to stay, please. I insist upon it.
Stay, Harry. To oblige Dorian and to oblige me, I never talk when I'm working, and I never listen what my sisters are saying.
Basil, I'm tired of standing. I must go out and sit in the garden. The air is stifling here.
You know you believe it all. I will go out to the garden with you. It is terrible hot in the studio. Basil, let us have something nice to drink. Something with the strawberries in it.
Yes, continue, Lord Henry. That's one of the great secrets of life, to cure the soul by means of the sense, and the sense by means of the soul. You are a wonderful creature. You know more than you think you know, just as you know less than you want to know.
You have a wonderfully beautiful face, Mr. Gray. Don't frown. You have. And beauty is a form of genius. Indeed, it is higher than genius. It doesn't need any explanation. It is one of the greatest facts of the world, like sunlight, springtime, or the reflection in dark waters of that silver shell we call the moon. It cannot be questioned.
People say sometimes that beauty is only superficial. That may be so, but at least it is not only superficial, as thought. To me, beauty is the wonder of wonders. It is only the shallow people who don't judge by appearance. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible.
Yes, Mr. Gray. The gods have been good to you, but what the gods give, they quickly take away. You have only a few years in which really to live, and when your youth goes, your beauty will go with it.
Okay, I'm waiting. The light's quite perfect, and you can bring your drinks.
You are glad you have met me, Mr. Gray.
Yes, I am glad now. I wonder, shall I always be glad? I always that is a dreadful word. It makes me shudder when I hear it. Women are so fond of using it. They spoil every romance by trying to make it last forever. It is meaningless word too. The only difference between a caprice and a lifelong passion is that the caprice lasts a little longer.
Mr. Gray, come and look at yourself, as if awakening at some dream.
Is it really finished?
Don't you like it? Why?
Of course he liked it. Who wouldn't like it? It is one of the greatest things in modern art. I will give you anything you like to ask for it. I must have it.
How sad it is. How sad it is. I shall grow old and horrid and dreadful, but this picture will remain always young. It will never be older than this particular day. I believe you will, Basil. You like you are better than your friend. I'm not more to you than a green bronze figure, hardly as much, I dare say.
Dorian, don't talk like that. I have never had such a friend as you. You are not jealous of material things.
I'm jealous of everything whose beauty does not die. I'm jealous of portrait you have painted of me. Why should it keep what I must lose? Every moment that passes takes something from me and gives something to it.
It is the real Dorian Gray. That is all.
I'm glad you appreciate my work at last, Dorian. I never thought you would.
Appreciate it? I am in love with it, Basil. It is part of myself. I feel that.
Well, as soon as you are tried, Dorian, you shall be banished. Then you can do what you like with yourself.
I wish I could trust myself. Come, Mr. Gray. My hansom is outside, and I can drop you at your own place. Goodbye, Basil. It has been a most interesting afternoon.
As the door closed behind them, Howard flung himself down in a sofa, and look of pain came down his face. One afternoon a month later, Dorian was in Henry's house. Lord Henry wasn't in the house, so Dorian thought of going away, but Henry's wife appeared. They talked to each other until Henry arrived to the house. Then the wife left the room, saying Dorian and to his husband goodbye.
Never marry a woman with fair hair, Dorian.
Why, Harry?
Because they are romantic.
But I like romantic people.
Never marry at all, Dorian.
I don't think I will marry Harry. I'm too much in love.
Who are you in love with?
With an actress.
How ordinary.
You wouldn't say that if you saw her, Harry. She's so pretty.
And who is she?
Her name is Sibyl Bay. What a beautiful name.
I have never heard of her.
No one has. but people will someday, right? She's an artist, a beautiful girl, an artist.
My dear boy, no woman is an artist. Women never have anything to say, but they say it charmingly. How long have you known her?
About 3 weeks.
And where do you meet her?
I tell you, Harry, but you mustn't laugh, right? It was you gave me, right? You was, uh, gave me a passion to know everything about life. After I meet you, right? I searched the street for beauty, right in the street, and I found a theater, in a little theater. I see you're laughing, Harry. It's terrible of you.
I'm not laughing, Dorian. Go on with your story.
Well, the play was Romeo and Juliet. I was, disgusted at the thought of seeing Shakespeare in such a terrible place. And I was about to walk out when I saw a fat and old man as Romeo arrived. But then I saw Juliet. Harry, she was the loveliest thing I have ever seen in my life. Harry, oh my gosh.
When do you meet her?
I went back the next night and the night after. On the third evening, I waited for her outside the theater.
What was she like?
Civil? Ah, she was shy and gentle. She's the only 17. There's something of a child in her, you know? She said to me, "You look like a prince."
Miss Evil knows how to flatter you.
You don't understand her, Harry. She thinks I'm like a person in Shakespeare. She knows nothing of life. Civil is the only thing I care about.
That's the reason you never had dinner with me now.
My dear Harry, we eat together every day.
You always come very late.
Well, I have to see Civil play.
Can you have dinner with me tonight, Dorian?
Tonight she's Ophelia, and tomorrow she will be Juliet.
And when is she Sybil Vane?
Never?
That's good.
How horrible you are. But when you see her, you will think in a different way. I want you and Basil to come and watch her tomorrow night. You'll see that she's wonderful. I must go now, Harry. Julius is waiting for me. Don't forget about it. Tomorrow, goodbye.
After this conversation, Henry asked Dorian if he should sing or write to Basil. Dorian said that he should write it because even though Basil is a good man, he can understand art. And after this, Dorian said that he must go because Juliet was waiting for him. Henry asked Basil if he knows the news about Dorian, and Basil said that he didn't know anything. That's why Henry had to tell everything about Dorian to Basil.
Dorian Gray is going to be married.
Dorian Gray is going to be married? Impossible.
Yes, it is perfectly true.
To whom?
To some little actress.
It could be absurd for him to marry someone like that.
Tell him if you don't want him to marry her or not, Basil, but he is sure to do it. And whenever a man does a stupid thing, it is always for a good reason.
Well, I hope this girl is good for him, Harry.
Oh, she is better than good. She is beautiful. Dorian Gray says that she is beautiful, and he is not often wrong about these things. Your portrait helped him understand beauty in others. We are going to see her tonight, if that boy doesn't forget.
But how can Dorian marry an actress, Harry? It's impossible.
Oh, my dear Basil,
Hi, Dorian.
my dear Henry,
Hi, Dorian.
you both must congratulate me. I feel so happy. I have never been so happy. I feel the happiest man in the world.
You can always be happy, Dorian, but why didn't you tell me anything?
Well, there's not much to tell. Last night I went to see her. We kissed each other, right? So I can't describe what I'm feeling right now.
Have you seen her today, Dorian?
Well, I have left in the Shakespeare forest, but I will find her in his garden.
And tell me, at what exact point did you use the word marry, Dorian, and how did she answer? Maybe you forgot all about it.
Oh, my dear Henry, it wasn't a business meeting. Yesterday I told her that I love her. She's nothing. The whole world is nothing to me compared to her. All your ideas about life, love, and pleasure. All your ideas, Henry.
Oh, pleasure is the only thing worth having ideas about. And when we are happy, we are always good. But when we are good, we are not always happy.
I know what pleasure is to worship someone.
That's better than when someone worships
Henry, you are terrible. I don't know why I like you so much. You know what? Let's go down to the theater. You'll change your idea when you see Sibyl.
Then they got up and put their coats. The painter was so sad and thoughtful. He felt very sad because Dorian would never be again him all that he had been in the past life. When he arrived at the theater, it seemed to Basil that he grew years older.
you. Oh, what a place to find the perfect girl in.
Yes, it was here. I found her. When you see it as Hood Juliet, you will understand and you will forget everything.
I understand what you mean, Dorian. I believe in this girl. Everyone you love must be wonderful.
I know that you will understand me, Basil. When you see in a few minutes, you will realize why I love so much that girl.
She's one of the loveliest girls I have ever seen, but she's a terrible actress who didn't understand Shakespeare.
Oh, Dorian. How badly I acted tonight.
Horrible. You were terrible. Why'd you make me suffer like that?
Don't you understand
Understand what?
why I was so badly tonight? Why I will always be bad? Why I will never act well again?
You are ill. I suppose you are ill. When you are ill, you shouldn't act. My friends were bored. I was bored.
Dorian, before I knew you, acting was the most important thing in my life. It was only the theater that I lived. But now, for the first time in my life, I know that I was playing at love with others. But I love you, Dorian. You are my love. Take me away with you and don't be afraid anymore. I love you. You have my love. You are my love, Dorian. Take me away with you and our love with each other is the only true love. Take me away with you and I don't want to be an actress anymore, Dorian.
I killed my love. How mad I was when I love you. I don't want to see it.
Are you kidding?
You are
You are
killing.
acting?
You are killing.
Dorian!
left the room. He entered to his house and see the picture, and the picture had changed. The lips were so cruel in the picture, so he wanted to go to the mirror and see his face, but his face was the same. That's why he started to thinking about how cruel he was with Sybil. That's why he started to thinking about to purpose again to get married to her and to love her again. Dorian wrote a letter, a passion letter, telling her that he loves her and asked for forgiveness.
I'm so worried about it, but you must not think too much about it.
You mean Sybil Vane?
Yes, of course. It is terrible, but you are not to blame.
Yes, I know I was cruel. I was terrible cruel, but I will be a good person because I don't want my soul ugly. She will be my wife.
Your wife? Didn't you get my letter, Dorian? I wrote to you this morning.
I haven't read it yet.
Well, my letter was to tell you that Sybil Vane is dead.
Death? Sybil is dead? My gosh, my first of passionately love. I love her so much, but right now it's death. I can't believe it.
Yes, it is terrible, but it is true, Dorian.
I won't talk about her anymore.
Tears came to Dorian's eyes as he remembered Sybil's death, that he felt that the time had come to choose. Life had desired that for him.
Basil Hallward was shocked by Dorian's apparent indifference to Sybil's death. He wanted to see the picture, but Dorian refuses and tells him that the picture had life on its own. And then they argue, but Dorian said that Basil taught him to love just his own beauty.
Well, I am so glad that I found you, Dorian, last night. They told me you were at the theater, and I cannot tell you how heartbroken I am for all. Did you go with her, mother?
I don't know. I was in the theater.
You went too? Where's Sybil? Ben was lying dead.
Stop, Basil. You must not speak about that. What is done is done. What is past is past.
You got yesterday the past? Dorian, this is horrible. You look like you don't have heart.
What do you want, Basil?
I want the Dorian I used to pay.
My dear Basil, you come so late. Yesterday when she killed herself.
Kill herself? My God, there's no doubt about that.
Of course, she killed herself.
How terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's one of the most beautiful romantic tragedy of our times. I know that you are surprised with my thoughts, right? But when you knew me, I was a boy, but I am a man now, Basil.
I'm confused now, but I won't speak to you again about this horrible thing. But just one thing, have the police asked to see you?
They don't even know my name. She used to call me Prince Charming.
At least, can I see the picture?
Impossible. It have its life, its own.
Well, goodbye then. I'm so sorry that you won't let me see the picture again, but I understand what you feel about it.
Basil gets out of the room.
Poor Basil. How little he knows about the true reason.
It was 9th of November, the day before his 38th birthday. He was walking home from Lord Henry's, and the night was cold and foggy. He recognized in the street a man. It was Basil Hallward.
Dorian, what an extraordinary piece of luck! I have been waiting for you since 9 o'clock. Now I'm going to Paris, but then I passed next to you. Didn't you recognize me?
In this fog, my dear Basil, I can't even recognize Grosvenor Square. I believe my house is somewhere about here, but I don't feel all certain about it. I'm sorry you are going to away, as I have not seen you for such a long time, but I suppose you will be back soon, right?
No, I'm going to be out of England for 6 months. But now let me come in. I have something to say to you.
That would be lovely, but won't you miss your train?
Said Dorian while he opened the door of his house.
Don't worry, I have plenty of time. All I have is back and I get easily to Victoria Station in 20 minutes.
Come in, or the fog, I will come into my house.
Basil followed Dorian to the library. There was bright wood fire on one side and two lamps on the other side.
Would you like a drink?
No thanks. I won't have anything more, Dorian. Now I want to speak to you, but don't frown like that, Dorian. Um, don't do it much more difficult for me.
What is it all about? I hope it is not about me. I'm tired about me tonight. I would prefer to be somebody different.
Well, it is about yourself, and I must say it to you.
Is it really necessary, Basil?
Well, I think you should know some of the bad things people are saying about you, Dorian.
I don't want to know anything about me. I love scandals about other people, but scandals about myself don't interest me, right? My dear Basil.
Yes, but you never come to my house, Dorian. And when I see you, I can't believe how your friends are killed by themselves. Like, I didn't see you at all. How is it possible and disorder?
Stop, Basil. You are talking about things of which you know nothing. I know how people talk in England. This is a country where people have two faces. They speak rumors about people like myself, and then the much worse things when others are not looking.
Dorian, that is not a question. I know England is bad. That is the reason why I want you to be a good influence on your friends. And now all the young men are bad influence for madness and pleasure. How can you smile like that? I want you to have a clean name. You had a good influence on your friends. Now I wonder, where is your soul?
To see my soul?
Said Dorian while jumped up from the sofa.
Yes, to see your soul, but only God can do that, Dorian.
You will see it yourself tonight. Come, it is your own work, right? Why shouldn't you look at it? You can tell the world all about it. After, if you want, nobody will believe you. If they do believe you, they will like me better for it. Come, I tell you, you have talked enough about corruption. Now you will see it to face, right? Yes, I will show you my soul. You will see what you think only God can see.
You cannot say things like that, Dorian. They are horrible. And they don't mean anything.
You think so?
I know so. You have to tell me.
Don't touch me. Finish what you have said. I'm waiting, Basil.
The painter felt extremely sad. He walked over the fire and stood there.
What I have to say is this, Dorian. You have to tell me or give me an answer about all those bad things people are saying against you, Dorian. Tell me that you aren't bad or you aren't corrupt.
Come upstairs, Basil. I keep a diary of my life from day to day. I will show it to you, right? If you come up with me, come.
I will come with you, Dorian. But I see I had missed my train. It doesn't matter. I can go tomorrow. But don't ask me to read anything. All I want is a simple answer to my question.
I will give it to you upstairs. I cannot give it to you here. You will not have to read for long.
When they reached the top, Dorian put down on the floor the lamp and then took out the key of his pocket and turned it in the lock.
Do you really want to know, Basil?
Yes, I want to know.
I am delighted. You are the one man in the world I want to know everything about me. You have influenced my life more than you think, right? Shut the door behind you.
He whispered as he put the lamp on the table. The painter looked around, and the whole room was covered with dust, and the carpet was covered with holes.
So, you think that it is only God who sees the soul? Basil, take the cover off the portrait and you will see mine.
You are mad, Dorian.
You won't take the cover off? Then I will do it myself.
Dorian took off the curtain from the portrait, and a cry of fear came from the lips of the painter when he saw the portrait that he painted. There was still some beauty on the portrait, but with some parts of an old person.
What does it mean?
Years ago, when I was a boy, you met me and flattered me. You taught me to love my beauty. One day you introduced me to a friend of yours. He explained to me how wonderful it was to be young. You finished a portrait of me that showed me how wonderful it was to be beautiful. In a mad moment, I made a wish.
I remember it. No, that's impossible. There must be something wrong with the paint.
Is anything really impossible?
You told me you have destroyed it.
I was wrong. It has destroyed me.
What? I don't believe this is my picture. There was nothing but in it. You were perfect to me. This is a face from hell.
It is the face of my soul. Each of us has heaven or hell in him, Basil.
My God, is this true? Is this what you have done with your life? Well, you must be even worse than people say, Dorian.
The painter threw himself into the chair by the table and put his face into his hands.
Good God, Dorian. What an awful lesson. What an awful lesson. Now, we must ask for forgiveness to God. But now, I'm punished for it. We are being punished, Dorian.
It's too late, Basil. But don't you see that hellish thing staring at us?
Dorian looked again to the picture, and suddenly he felt that he hated Basil. Then he rushed at him from the back, and with a knife in his hands, he stuck it in the neck of the painter again and again. Then he threw the knife down on the table. After some minutes, he felt extremely calm. Then he walked to the window and he saw a policeman that was reviewing the houses with a light. He had to hide the body. He looked at his watch. It was 2 minutes to 2. Basil visited Dorian's house at 11 p.m. and after some minutes he left, and no one saw him again except Dorian. He put on his coat and hat and went to the front room into the door. He waited and held his breath, and after a few minutes he opened gently the door and went out, and then closed it gently again. He waited some seconds and then he knocked the door to call Francis, his servant. In that way, he couldn't be suspicious of the death of Basil Hallward. Next morning, Dorian was waiting for a man, and he was Mr. Campbell, Alan Campbell.
Oh, Mr. Alan, I'm glad to see you. Please sit down. Please sit down. Well, I'm glad to see you. Thanks for coming to my house. I needed to tell you something because I need your help, man. You'll read the letter?
Okay, tell me.
Well, you know, um, right now I have a dead body, and because someone committed suicide, and I need to disappear that body. And you know, you're a scientist, and you can help me.
Yes, but let me tell you something. Right now, I'm not sure about my life. Why? Because first, I don't want to have problems.
Yeah, I know that. But listen, man, if you help me, that can help you in your experiments because you are a scientist, right?
Yes,
So listen, that person doesn't commit suicide, but he was murdered. But I need, man, I really need your help.
I can't, Dorian, because we are not very close friends, right?
You know, if you don't will help me, I will write a card, a letter, and I will send to another scientist, and I will tell them that you are disappointed of me, right? So you have to help me.
Okay, I will help you, but our friendship ends.
Well, doesn't hurt, man, but I need your help right now.
Okay, but let me tell you, I have to go home and get some things about my laboratory.
No, man, no, I need it right now, man. You know, I will send my servant to take your things to my house, right? But I need the things right now, man. I need to disappear that body, man.
Okay, Dorian, but in that way, it will take about 5 hours.
It doesn't hurt, man, but I need right now, man. I know how much time it take, man.
You have to take those 5 hours with me.
Yeah, that's right, man, but I need it right
Okay,
now. So
I
please
will help.
follow me.
It was a quiet night. He was walking back home with his coat on his arm and smoking a cigarette. Two young men in evening dress passed him, and he heard that one of them whispered, saying, "Look, that is Dorian Gray." He was bored to hear his own name now, and he started to remember some things that Lord Henry told him many years ago.
It was really true that one could never change. There have been a time when I have been good or innocent. I have corrected myself and become a terrible influence on others.
In a terrible moment of passion, he wished to stay young for all time. All his failure was because of that.
It was better not to think of the past. Nothing could change that.
He had to think on his future. Alan Campbell had shot himself one night, and his terrible secret had died with him. The mysterious disappearance of Basil Hallward.
A new life is what I want.
That was what he was waiting for. He began to wonder if the portrait in the locked room had changed.
Was it still as horrible as it had been?
He took the lamp and he went upstairs to see the picture.
There's no change.
The picture was still horrible and hateful, even more hateful than it was in the past.
What did it all mean? Should I go to the police? Should I tell the whole story and be put to death? That's absurd. No one will believe me.
He had destroyed everything belonging to Basil Hallward except one thing, the picture that they could use against him. He should destroy it. He had to kill the picture to kill Basil Hallward.
Yeah.
The picture started to cry and to scream. The servants were afraid of that, so they went upstairs, but they couldn't open the door.